Have you ever wondered, how do I build a house in Bloxburg? Well, today, I'm gonna show you. Have you ever wanted to build a house like this? Or maybe something like this? Well, what if I told you it really isn't that hard? Today, you're gonna make the best house you've ever made. Before we build, we're gonna start with game passes. So if you click this little market button right here, it'll show you all the game passes. And in reality, you don't need any of them to build a good house. But if you did have extra money to spend on a game pass, I would 100% recommend you getting advanced placing, multiple floors, excellent employee, and transform plus. The rest is not necessary. It's only if you want it. But as I said earlier, you literally don't need any game passes to build a good house. And I'm gonna show you in this video. Before you get started with building, you need inspiration, and I suggest either Google, Pinterest, or my personal favorite, Houseplans. The first option you can use is actually Google, and Google is literally amazing. I used to use it all of the time, and I honestly would recommend it to beginners to intermediate builders. If you're first starting out, Google is a great place to look because it gives you inspiration to build a house, but it also makes you use your own creativity to make a house plan. The second option I recommend is Pinterest. Pinterest is great if you really like Google, but you want something a little more challenging. I personally use it for my gardening aspects of a build. And I forgot to state this earlier, but on both Pinterest and Google, you can actually search up various different forms of houses you can build from, such as Bloxburg, Sims 4, and even real life, depending on how challenging you want your build to be. Houseplans.net is third and my personal favorite option. With houseplans.net, you can actually choose what type of house you want, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, garages. You can choose literally everything. And if you are a more experienced builder, I honestly suggest this because it is so much easier to just have a house plan and so much quicker, but you still need to learn how to make a house with your own imagination. So I would only use this if you know how to build a house. And this is actually the house plan we're using today. And if you were wondering how I was going to make a house with no game passes in today's video to show you, I'm actually going to make two house examples. And they will be marked by chapters. So if you don't have any game passes and you don't want to watch through the entire video, make sure to look down below in the description to find all the chapters. Also, make sure to subscribe while you're down there. The first thing I'm going to talk about is house placement. And I cannot say this enough, do not put your house on the very edge of the plot. When you put your house on the edge of the plot, you can put like windows and doors and stuff, but you can't like put decoration. And it just looks so bad. Like, you do not put your house on the concrete, on the sideway. Okay, just do not do this. Please, for the love of everything good, do not do this. Just make it a few steps back. Please. The next thing I'm covering is house sizing. It's honestly like so important for the entire build, and so many people mess it up even though it's such a simple thing. From an experienced player, not the best, but experienced, I've learned over time that you shouldn't build a big boxy house because you don't see those. I mean, you don't see this very much in real life, but you can find them. But it's mainly like factories or something of the sort. It's not normally a house that's a big box. You also can't build those up easily. And I also want to do something super tiny like this, or just make the walls unconnected. Also like this. What I would do is honestly try to work around that and try to make your own vision. But if you really can't and you're having trouble figuring out how to build your house, or you just have no idea how house plans work, then I suggest actually looking up the house plan and figuring out how they work before moving on with your build, because house plans really make the entire build. And you don't even need game passes to make a good house plan. For example, on the right side, I'm making a game pass free house to show you that you don't even need to spend money to make a good house. Here's a little side-by-side comparison real quick. The concept of floors is so simple, but some people let that get to their head and they mess it up because of how simple it is. And you can see in my video, I did it just right there. And we're gonna pause real quick on the floors because I forgot to state this earlier, so I'm just putting it in right now. You need to do your layout before you do your flooring, and I'm gonna show you how to right now, very, very quickly. Okay, so house layouts are actually very simple. It's fully creative, do whatever you want to do. I actually prefer not to do the inside of my house based on a photo. I just do it based off of what I want from my own creativity. But yeah, it's very simple. The only thing I suggest is try not making too many diagonal walls like I'm doing right now. That can cause a lot of ruckus. Don't do so many like I did. It's not always good. And my layout actually is not a good example right now. I made a very bad layout in this house, so I'm gonna fix it probably. But yeah, the only thing I recommend is do not make it look like a staircase. Don't make your house look like a staircase. Don't make too many diagonal walls. And also don't make a bunch of like 1 block spaces because you don't know how to decorate those. I don't know how to decorate those. We're not gonna decorate those, okay? So just don't make them. As simple as that. Now, back to flooring. A few seconds ago, I said that I did this wrong. And if you're wondering, how did I do that wrong? I'm going to show you right now exactly how I did that wrong and how to fix it. So as you can see, I have a diagonal room. And instead of just filling in the entire flooring, I'm doing it one by one so that it isn't like this. When you're making floors, you never want to make the floor diagonal because it doesn't ever turn out good. That is what the left side looks like. If you have diagonal floors, make it into multiple sections so it isn't messy. So it's like the right side. Stairs are super simple. So to place it easier, place a wall and then put the stair on the wall and then delete the wall afterwards. Just don't make the top piece where you walk up into a wall. Do not make it touching a wall. I don't care how tiny your house is. You can use the spiral staircase. Just don't let it touch the wall, okay? Paths are very simple, especially because I can't do them very well. So I do them very simple anyways. Really, place floors wherever you want. It doesn't really matter all too much. Like, as long as your house looks good, that's literally all that matters. The paths are very creative, I promise. Just don't use the pass button, please. And as you can see, I'm doing the exact same thing on the no game pass side because it takes no game passes. Also, if you have the basement game pass, you could always put a roof in the basement level to create like a porch. I always love doing that. I so recommend it. Roofing is simple, but it could be complicated. I make it simple because I'm not very good at roofing. Literally all you do is just like never place a roof down automatically. Press T to place it down manually. I promise you it'll look so much better. Also, make sure that your roofing doesn't like go in the middle because if it were real life, your roof would collapse if like water got stuck in it. Pillars are literally just free will. Use whatever pillar you think looks best for the house, wherever you want it, but make sure if you do put pillars down that it makes sense where you put them, because I've seen so many builds where there's just a random pillar like in the middle of nowhere and it doesn't make sense. So if you're gonna put a pillar down, make sure that it's something that you would see in real life, and make sure the pillars match the build, because I've seen so many pillars that like give off like modern vibes on a Victorian house or like a castle, and it just doesn't fit and it looks wrong, you know? And same goes for non-Game Pass houses. I'm pretty sure I said this earlier. If I didn't, I'm so sorry. But if you don't have Game Passes, make sure to put pillars down before the walls or else you won't be able to place them properly. You could see I'm having trouble right here because I kind of forgot to do that. So yeah, that's all I suggest. Just make sure to place it somewhere you would actually see a pillar in real life. Hey berries! Thanks for watching this far along in the video. But a little birdie told me today that like 80% of you guys aren't even subscribed. So like, I'll only show you the rest of the video if you subscribe right now. You can never go wrong with custom items, and it is all literally up to you. You don't even need them. I didn't start making custom things until probably this year, I'd say. And I feel like my builds, for the most part, were pretty good without them. It's definitely not a necessity, but if you want it, it will definitely spice up your build. Just remember that making custom items is not easy whatsoever. It took me probably a year or two to even get decent at it, and still I'm not very good compared to some other people out there. One thing I often forget when making custom items is to always remember your own style, because I promise you it will always look 10 times better when you make it instead of just a replica of someone else's. Fences have the same rule as pillars. You can get very creative with them, but you have to make sure that they match the house, because I've seen so many castles and Victorian houses with modern fences, but then on the other hand I've also seen modern houses with the traditional railing I'm using right now, and it just doesn't make sense. One thing I really like to do to spice up my builds that I don't see many people doing is actually placing fencing on the roof. I promise you it will sometimes look okay. Sometimes it looks a little weird, and I suggest not to do it every time, but sometimes it gives your roof a little more dimension and it looks really good. And I never see anyone ever doing this for some reason. Most people think that doors don't matter and they just choose the cheapest one they could possibly find, but I promise you doors matter so much more than you think. Like railing, I often see people that use doors that just don't match the build, and it makes their house look unfinished and unorganized. And this goes for garage doors too. You need to make sure that it matches the rest of the build, because a garage door can look good on its own, but it won't look good altogether if it doesn't match. Windows are a necessity when building, but you can do something that I often do and people make fun of me for: placing too many windows. And you may be wondering, too many windows? How is that possible? Trust me, it's possible. Also, if you're building a realistic house, make sure to add a window to every bedroom you make for safety reasons. And if you can't make a custom window like I did in this house because you don't have a Gamepass or you're just unable to, then you can make a window like I did on the non-Gamepass house here, where it's already made and you just need to buy it. Now we're getting to one of the most important steps when building a house. That is gardening. Now you can do gardening very different ways, depending on the style of the house that you're building. I've seen a lot of desert houses, so it's cacti and just small bushes and just stuff like that. And then I've also seen more what I'm doing, traditional, and so it's a bunch of bushes and trees and flowers. And so really your gardening is what makes up your entire build. And your gardening is very important, because if you don't do it right, your entire build will look way different than what it's supposed to, because gardening is the main eye factor, to me at least, I feel. And so it's really important that when you do garden, that you make it look how you want. So make sure not to cheap out on gardening, because I promise you it will not be worth it. This also goes for decor too, that I actually just did right now as well. It is a very big benefactor when you build, because it definitely changes up your entire build, and it makes it look more lively. The swing and the trampoline I added are both decor, and so are the stones on the pathway, and it makes your house look more alive and people live in it almost, and I just think it looks really good. So that's a really big main benefactor that you should definitely add. We have finally moved on to the most important thing when building: coloring. Coloring just spices up your entire build, and it makes it from slop to a masterpiece, really, because proof is in the pudding, Anyways, yeah, just make sure to find your color scheme and make sure to be yourself, because there are so many builders out there and all of them are all different and they're all amazing. So just make sure to find what you like, and I promise you it will look amazing as well. So if you are wondering, how do I build a house in Bloxburg? I hope you learned from today's video, and if you did, make sure to like and subscribe so you can watch more videos such as how do I decorate a house in Bloxburg. Bye!